Hello students. Hello students. Good morning to all of you. Welcome you all in this lecture of Electrical Machine 1. The code as per our SUV curriculum, that is EE205, and unit which we are going through is the unit number 5, and we can say as per the curriculum this is the last unit. So in this we are going to study about the transformers. In transformers we are going to study about auto transformers. So if I am talking about the auto transformers, though we have to study these auto transformers, so we can say if I'm talking about the electrical machine one, the electrical machine one is basically uh, is the important subject in electrical engineering. So if I'm talking about the syllabus content we have, so in electrical machine one, basically we having the first unit deals with the magnetic circuit. So in magnetic circuit, we having two types of magnet, permanent magnet or electromagnet. So permanent magnet having the greater advantage, but electromagnets also having the advantage when we have to vary the magnetic field. So permanent magnet always persists a magnetic field, and electromagnet persists a magnetic field when we need it, when we are in the demand, when we want to use it. This means when we flow current into it, though as per the Bayes outlaw, we can have a magnetic field. So that is known as electromagnetic field. Okay, though we having the permanent magnet and electromagnet. So if I'm talking about the electromagnet or magnet, we having always a dipole, not a single pole in this, because if we cut a small piece of iron rod or a magnet rod, always gives you the piece having two poles in it, that is north and south, and we can identify these poles with the help of a magnet. We understood that the earth having the permanent magnet in it, a bar of magnet, a gigantic bar or a huge bar in it. So if they having the north and south pole, so we can use a permanent magnet or a magnet which rotates and attract the north pole of magnet to the earth pole, that is means the south pole of the equator or earth. And if magnet south pole is attract towards the we can say earth, so it is the north pole of the earth. We can identify like this. So we can make electromagnets. In electromagnets, we need a core made up of ferromagnetic material, that is basically iron, we can say nickel, cobalt, alloy, steel sheet, steel we have. So this is we have understood about in the unit number 1, and basically in unit number 1 we deal basically with we deals with the magnetic circuit. So we having two types of magnetic circuit. One is the series, another one is the parallel. So if I'm talking about the series, the flux line will be in the same manner. We having the same value, but in parallel we having a different manner of flux value, different flux value. So basically, we have understood that in a magnetic field, if I'm talking about, though there is a flux density, we can say the magnetic field density, intensity is there, magnetic field intensity, then we have the permeability. Similar to the analogous, we having the electric in the electric field EMF, and in magnetic field MMF. If I'm talking about reluctance in the resistance in a electrical field, though we having the reluctance in the magnetic field. Okay, if I'm talking about the permeability, though we having the conductivity, permeability representing the magnetic field, conductivity represent the electric field. So flux lines in a magnetic field and current in a electrical field. Okay, so we're having so many things analogous to each other. We can also represent an electric circuit with a magnetic circuit. So we can apply a Ohm's law, that as per the Ohm's law in electrical circuit, we can say E is equals to V by R. So similar to that, we can say phi is equals to mf by reluctance. So that is the basic phenomenon we have understood in the unit number 1, that how the density, intensity refers. So density and intensity refers at BH curve. Basically where we get it, we are getting in the BH curve. Okay, so if I am getting this all in the BH curve, that means BH is basically the representation or the curve which is drawn between the intensity or density. So B and H having the relationship like B is equals to mu of H. Mu is the permeability, so B is equals to mu of H we have. So we can easily make B is equals to mu of H, and we have understood by that graph that iron having the small value, so we can use for small machines, but for heavy machines we use steel sheet or steel. So this is we have already studied in the unit number 1. Then we having the laws of electromagnetism, that is Biot-Savart law, Faraday law, Ford's law, Ampere law, and Lance law. So these we have all studied in the unit number 1. If I'm talking about the unit number 2, though it is in the continuation, or we can say the connection with the unit number 1. So in unit 2, number 2, we having the magnetic field force. You can say the electromagnetic force and torque. So if I'm talking about the electromagnetic force, though it means the electromagnetic force is basically what we have. The electromagnetic force, we can say that we are getting from the whenever there is a current carrying conductor plays on a magnetic field, it experiences a force. Whenever there is a current carrying conductor plays on a magnetic field, it experiences a force. So that I'm representing the force here, and if force is applying on something like this is the place, and I'm applying force on it, so it is moving. So this is the initial position, this is the final position, though we having the displacement. So we can say torque is equals to force cross displacement, force into displacement, and I have cross t. So we'll get a torque, and if they are perpendicular, they will rotate. So torque will be d. And we have also understood that if we want to convert electrical to mechanical, mechanical to electrical, so I need a coupling circuit. That coupling circuit is basically known as the magnetic field or a magnetic circuit. So we have already understood and understand about this thing in the unit number 1. So in unit number 2, basically the electromagnetic energy conversion we can understood by the laws. For example, if I am talking about the generator, so generator basically based on the principle of Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction. But if I am talking about the motor, my dear student, so motor is basically having the principle of electromagnetic interaction. Okay, so both we having, and for generator we use Fleming right hand, for motor we are using Fleming left hand. So we can say the direction of the EMF is like this. For generator it is a generating EMF, for motor it is a back EMF. So we needed both for the both case. So I hope you understand about the unit number 2. Then we also understood about the basic concepts, or basically the bar magnet, how they work, how they move. We analyze all these things, and one thing is more, that is the examples like relay, galvanometers means ammeter, voltmeter we have. Then we having the closed loop, the motor. So in unit number 2, coming to the unit number 2, in unit number 2 we have already discussed. Then unit number 3, if I'm talking about, then unit number 3 and 4 are in the continuation. So we can say the 3 is the basic and 4th is the elaborative part of it, application part of it. So in unit number 3 we having the DC machines. So DC machines are basically, we can say, in a DC machine we have uh, what we can say, in a DC machine, if I'm talking about the DC machine, my dear student, so in a DC machine basically we having two types of machine, that is known as rotating machine, and one is the motor, another one is the generator. So the construction is same, but the principle of operation is different. If I'm talking about the Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction, though we apply this principle for generating action. In generating action, what we are getting, we are giving input as a mechanical and taking electrical output. And if I'm talking about the motor, so we are giving electrical input and taking mechanical output. So for motoring action, we need force law that states that whenever there is a current carrying conductor plays in a magnetic field, it experiences a force, and due to this we have a torque. And if I'm talking about the Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction, though we have two laws. First state that whenever there is a change in structural scale, then we will get an EMF induced. That is known as induced EMF, and it is a goes, then we can say it is a current. So induced EMF and current we have. So that is the basic principle for generating action. Which action? Generating action. I hope you understand. Now, if I'm talking about the construction, though in construction, in a DC machine, we have similar construction for motor and generator. If I'm talking about the motor, the motor is same. Generator is also same construction. So in motor or generator, we having first the yoke, the outermost shell we can say, or it supports the, it gives the mechanical support to the all components, internal components in the machine working as motor or generator. So if I'm talking about the construction, though in construction we having stator known as field. In this field we having the core, basically pole core, uh, we can say the core winding, we can say pole winding, pole coils, and pole shoe, that is also known as pole face. So core is made up of ferromagnetic metal having the lamination on it to reduce eddy current losses, and proper cross section and silicon content we add on to reduce the hysteresis loss. Okay, and the winding is made up of copper. Why we are winding wound a winding on it? To create a magnetic field, to create or to induce an electromagnetic field. Okay, I think so you understand. Then we having the rotating part known as armature. Though we having the armature winding on it, means made up of copper or aluminum, but generally we make copper because we use for the heavy duty. Okay, and then we having one more thing, that is the in armature we having the armature slots. We having a winding wound on it, known as armature conductor, lap and wave winding we have. Then we have in the commutator, which basically convert that bidirectional current into the unidirectional, and we can also understand by this phenomena that if I am talking about, my dear student, armature core, though it is also laminated and silicon content, still we can use it to reduce hysteresis, eddy current and hysteresis loss respectively. Okay, and it is of cylindrical structure. So these are the construction part. Then we have the bearing. With the help of bearing, we can easily rotate the shaft is also a main part. Then we having the commutator arrangement is there, commutator lugs, commutator segment made up of copper. Then we having the brush which carries the current and gives bit reference. So commutator having the process of commutation means reversal of current. We can improve this reversal of current by using carbon brush instead of copper and graphite by high resistance. Secondly, we use interpoles connected between the poles directly with the armature to compensate the armature. So we are having the another thing, that is armature reaction. Armature reaction is due to the armature flux which distort the mean field flux. I hope you understand this thing. Okay, I hope you understand about this thing. Now then we having one more thing, that is the how can we reduce the armature reaction. So it is very easy for me, for us, and we can easily reduce the armature reaction by using interpoles and compensating winding to compensate the armature flux. And this is then we having the losses. So three types of losses we have. We can say the copper loss, that is I square R, due to the resistance present in the two windings, armature and field. Okay, and then basically we have the magnetic core or iron loss, eddy current and hysteresis loss we have. And if I'm talking about the last loss, that is the mechanical losses. So we having the bearing loss and the windage, the gap between the field pole and the armature pole, we can say, due to that air gap. Then this is about the this is all about the unit number, we can say the 3. Then 4 is basically the elaborative manner. So if I'm talking about the unit number 4, though in unit number 4, basically we have understood about the concepts of the we have already discussed the concept in unit number 3. So in unit number 4 we talked about the types. So two types are there, basically for generator, for the motor. If in generator we having the current direction is like this, so motor having the current direction like this. Okay, so that is why generator rotates in our armature rotate in a clockwise direction in the generator, but in a motor it rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. So I hope you understand EMF generating back EMF. So EMF is there 5Z and P by 60A, and if I'm talking about the torque, so torque is proportional to the E beam to I. So we can directly calculate the value. So for generator, it is very necessary to have a generating EMF, and for motor, it is also very necessary to have a back EMF to get a good amount of torque. So I hope you understand. I hope you better understand about this thing. Though we having the types, first is the separately, another one is the self. Separately, we connect a DC source, that is a battery, and another we can say the rectified output. Then we having the self excitation. So if I'm talking about the self excitation, is basically based on residual magnetism. So if I'm talking about the self excitation, though in self excitation the residual magnetism is there, but how can we basically do this thing? Though we can connect the in the residual magnetism, we can do what? We can directly connect the field winding with the armature winding. So we can connect the armature winding with the field winding in series. We can connect the armature winding in the with the field winding in a shunt, that is known as shunt mount and series mount. And we can also do the two things same simultaneously, means series and shunt. So we can say it is a compound. So in compound we having again two types: long shunt, long size of shunt, and short size of shunt, and another one is the cumulative and differential. So these are the types for C. These are the same types for motor and the generator. Okay. Then we having the characteristics of generator and similar for the motor. Then we having the speed control in motor. So we having the armature control, field flux control, voltage control, Wald-Inor method, Wald-Inor method, the advanced method of Wald-Inor. Then we having the testing. Why we are doing testing on it? Because we want to identify the losses while we are manufacturing the machine. So if I am manufacturing and you are manufacturing the machine and you are the owner of that factory who manufactures the machine, so what you will do? You will also test the motors while manufacturing it, or after doing the manufacturing process. Why? Because you want to tell the other company that it is 100% efficient, it is 75% efficient, it is 85% efficient, or it is 99% efficient. So how can we identify? we can identify by the calculation of losses. So we having different type of tests, direct and indirect. If I'm talking about direct, though we having the brick test, and if I'm talking the indirect test, though we having we basically Swinburne's and Hopkins. So we discuss a lot about this thing. Now then we having again losses similar to that, three types of losses. Now this is all about up to the fourth unit. Then we having we have already started with the unit number 5. So unit number 5 is basically the transformer. So on the basis of we can say the supply, transformer are of two types, single phase and three phase. If I am talking about the AC supply, so in AC supply we having the single phase supply and we having the three phase supply. So if I am talking about the transformer, though we having two types of transformer, single phase and three phase. So if I am talking about the transformer, so transformer is totally based on the principle of Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction. And one thing is there, my dear student, that if I am talking about the Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction, though we apply this principle of phenomena in the transformer working. Transformer principle, we can say. So transformer, how can we identify? It is based on the base of supply, single phase and three phase. In the we can say on the basis of construction, we having again two types, core and shell. In core, basically we can say winding surrounded the core, and in shell core surrounded the winding. So two limbs we can find in core type, and three limbs we can find in shell. So the shell is using for the small construction, we can say the small power applications, and core we are using for higher power. So similar to that, we having the on the basis of functionality or function, step up and step down. So we can also identify the equivalent circuit. We having the electrical circuit, because in that we having the first current, which is we having the core on which we wind two types of winding, that is primary and secondary. Generally, we give supply to the primary and connect load to the secondary. And the basically the thing is that in this, the coils are magnetically coupled in a single core, but they are electrically separated. They are electrically separated but magnetically coupled. So we can do one thing: they are magnetically coupling but electrically isolated. So primary we are giving supply, and secondary we are taking the supply out for the load. Okay. Then we understood about the different type of loads like capacitive, inductive, and resistive. So resistive is like a unity power factor, inductive is like a lagging power factor, and capacitive is like a leading power factor. So we made so many phasor diagrams related to cap unity power. UPF means unity power factor, LPF means lagging power factor, LPF means leading power factor. So resistive, inductive, and capacitive respectively. So we make the phasor diagram also. Then we calculate the voltage regulation, means the change in the secondary winding terminals when from low load to full load. So no load minus full load upon no load, we can say it is a voltage regulation. Then we having the two types of losses, copper and iron ore or magnetic. Copper we having I square R due to windings, primary and secondary, and we can say the core due to core. Core is made up of magnetic material or ferromagnetic material, maybe the iron. So we can say iron core and magnetic losses. Though we having same losses similar to that we having in the DC machines. Though we can say the eddy current cells. So this the difference between the DC machine and this transformer is that the transformer works on AC, but DC machine works on DC obviously and gives the output in the form of DC. The one difference. Second is transformer is non-rotating machine, because in this we basically transfer the voltage from one circuit to another without changing its frequency. But if I'm talking about the DC machine, so in DC machine the induced EMF is known as dynamic EMF, but here in the transformer it is known as static EMF, because we are not rotating on anything, but the flux is rotating by its own self, it's ourself, because we are giving alternating current. So we can say flux is proportional to the current, pi is proportional to the I. So I hope you understand about this thing. Then we having the basically losses, efficiency, and testing on it. So we having three different types of tests: open circuit test, short circuit test, and Sumner's back-to-back test. So open circuit and short circuit. In open circuit, we can easily find the copper losses, basically the core losses, eddy current and hysteresis. But we can't separate it, because if I want a core loss separately, though we have to do open circuit, but we are not connecting any load. If I'm talking about the short circuit test, So in this we are short circuiting the secondary side, but we are not connecting any load, and we can easily calculate the copper loss in the wattmeter reading, similar to that in the open circuit with the wattmeter reading. But we can't easily separate it. So the separation of loss we can do in another test that is known as Sumner's back-to-back test. Sumner's back-to-back test. In this we are using two transformers and connecting we can say the series of pushing of the secondary. So we having one wattmeter connected in the primary side, second wattmeter connected in the secondary side. So first wattmeter gives you the we can say the core iron magnetic loss value, and the second wattmeter gives you the copper loss value, we can say. So I hope you understand about this whole thing. And then we having the Sumner test, then we having the three-phase transformer. So if I'm talking about the three-phase transformer, so three-phase already having the three phases in it. So we can make in a form of unit or individual. Individual means three single-phase transformer, and we can connect it and make a three-phase transformer. So we having four different connection in three-phase transformer. Primary is connected in star, second is also connected in star. So say star star. Primary is connected in star and secondary is connected in delta. So we can say star delta. Primary is connected in the delta, secondary is connected in star, then we can say delta star. And primary is connected in delta, secondary is also connected in delta, so we having the delta delta connection. So we can remove the harmonics also, and we can also utilize that harmonic for sinusoidal wave when we having the delta. And when we having the star connection, so we can say what, then star we can easily ground the neutral. Through this we can easily remove the harmonics. Harmonics is basically the high frequency waveform, we can say, n into f. So we understood about the thing. Then we having the open delta connection. Now open delta is basically what, it is the delta connection, but in which one phase is out, then it becomes VV connection. So it works on 57% efficiency or 58%. It at zero at we can say lagging power factor, at different power factor. Then we having the spot connection through two transformer. We can make into the three phase, so two phase to three phase, or from three we can convert into two phase. Then we having the double star, double delta. Diametrically, we can say, though we can convert three to six phase very easily. In secondary side, we do all this thing: double delta, double star, diametric, all this thing we apply in the secondary side. Though we having the tertiary winding. Now tertiary winding we are using for example, if I am talking about the transformer that is 220 volt oblique 110 volt oblique 40 volt. So 40 volt is for the tertiary. So we having the different voltage level, so that we can initially we can easily give the load to the different load. Okay, and we also connect to the power factor improvement capacitors for power factor improvement or power factor correction directly with the secondary. So secondary helps to all this, and if there is a leakage current, or we can say the harmonics of higher value, we can also using this tertiary winding we can also ground it, we can make it ground. Okay, so I hope you understand about all this thing, all about the then. Now this is about the three phase transformer. Now today we are going to start about we are going to I am going to deliver this lecture for on auto transformers. It is the, we can say it is different from the single phase or three phase. How it is different? Same winding we have, same core we have, but only one winding we are using. So that is the difference between the basically the single phase or three phase transformer or a two winding transformer. We have understood or understand that we having that transformer in which two winding is connected on a pole, but in this we are having the only one winding. Now moving forward, now the objectives. If I am starting my lecture, I am delivering this lecture, so there will be my motto, there will be my objective to achieve this one. So first is help the student to understand about the basic of transformers. What is the basic of transformer? So little one we are going to study. Then we are going to make student familiar with the principle of operation and types of auto transformers. So principle of operation is same, but what are the types and what are the difference basically? So moving forward, now if I am talking about the transformers, so a transformer is a static device which is used to convert high alternating voltage to a low alternating voltage, and vice versa, means step up and step down. If I'm talking about the step up, so step up do what? Is basically increase the voltage level from primary to secondary and give to the load. So how can we do it? We can do with the turn ratio easily. So turn ratio is the, basically we can say the transformation ratio also. So transformation ratio is the ratio of secondary voltage to the primary voltage. You can say V2 by V1 is equals to the primary current to the secondary current is equal to the secondary winding turns to the primary winding turns. So V2 by V1 is equals to I1 by I2 is equals to N2 by N1. So N2 is greater, V2 is greater, but I1 is greater. But N1 is greater, then I2 is greater, but V1 is greater. So if step down is there, so primary winding turns is more compared to the secondary winding turns. If step up is there, so primary winding turns is less compared to the secondary winding turns. So we can easily identify with that transformation ratio. And it look like this. Now see here. It is the radiator, it is the conservator tank, then we having the Buchholz relay fitted in, and we having some cooling effect is there. Then we having the main tank is there, then radiator fins. In this main tank, we basically place our transformer. We place our what? Transformer here. I hope you understand. Now it is a static device, and it is basically a electromagnetic static device which transfer the energy from one circuit to another circuit without changing frequency but changes its level in voltage and current vice versa. I hope you understand. Now moving forward, then we having the principle of operation. Now if I am talking about the principle of operation, my dear student, so here it is a core and we wound winding on it. So red I am showing you high turns, and blue secondary I am showing you the small turns. So we can say it is behaving like a step down transformer. So in this, the transformer works on the principle of mutual induction of two coils, or we can say it is based on the Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction. Is a basic principle of operation of transformer. A simple transformer means two winding transformer. So transformer works on the principle of mutual induction, or we can say the Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction of two coils. When current in a primary coil is changed, when the current in the primary coil is changed, the flux linked to the secondary coil also changes. Now primary coil current is changes, so the flux linked to the secondary coil also changes. So consequently, an EMF is induced in a secondary coil. We can say secondary winding, we can easily find a EMF as per the Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction. Now moving forward, types of transformer. So we having first auto transformer is there. So we are discussing this thing. Then we having the polyphase. We have already discussed leakage transformer. We also use as a leakage, resonant and instrument transformer. So instrument transformer we already studied in EMI, and we are going to study in EMI, that is electrical measuring instrument or electrical measurement. So instrument transformer are basically, we have two types of transformer: current transformer for the current measurement and voltage transformer for the voltage measurement. Now my dear student, why we are using these instrument transformers? Because in a we can say in a power system, we always talking about the power system, so it means we are talking always about the high voltage, high power, high current, and all of this. So if high voltage, high power, and high current we have, so we have to measure this thing. So a voltmeter doesn't have any capacity to measure the kilovolt, measure the kilo ampere in the meter. So we do what? We use these the transformers, like step up transformer we use in the current transformer, means primary having a few turns but secondary having a large turns. So what we can do, we can step down the secondary current very easily. So if I'm talking about the second transformer, in this we are using step up, step down transformer. So we can easily measure the voltage, because in step down the primary turns are higher compared to the secondary. So we can easily measure the voltage with the help of this transformer, that is known as potential transformer. So in current transformer we use step up construction, and for potential transformer we use step down construction. So these are the instrument transformers we have. So we can easily find here the three phase we have it. In this we are finding a winding turns, and then we have the three phases R by B, red, yellow, blue, and we can say A, B, and C. Now moving forward, auto transformer. Now what is auto transformer? An auto transformer, sometimes called auto step down transformer. Auto step down transformer is an electrical transformer with only one winding. Now what is the difference? In a, we can say, two winding or transformer, we having two windings which is wound on a core. They are magnetically coupled but electrically separated. So similar to that one, we having only one winding. So in auto transformer is an electrical transformer with only one winding. The difference is that in this we having only the one winding. In an auto transformer, the portion of the same winding act as both the primary and secondary sides of the transformer. So in a one winding, we can also create or also find the primary side and the secondary side. Now see here. In this we having the turn. Now this will become the input, this will become the output to the load. So single core, and we having the single winding on it. So we having the winding, one winding instead of two windings. Okay, so one winding means that winding turns behaving like a for the primary, sometimes behaving for the secondary. So we can get input from the we are in the primary winding turns, some few turns, and the remaining turns is working for the secondary. So I hope you understand about how it behave and what is the difference we have. So difference is that in auto transfer we have only the single winding, which is mounted on a core. So what the benefit we are getting, it is also known as auto step transformer. Now, theory of auto transformer. Now if I am talking about the theory, so we can assuming n1, n1 is the primary term, is from 1 to 3. So 1 2 3 we are having 1 2 and 3. So 1 to 3 is known as the n1 primary terms, and n2 is secondary term from 2 to 3. Now n1 is behaving like 1 2 3. So all the terms are of the primary, but 2 to 3, some half portion of it is representing the n2, is representing what, n2. So we can say the n2, n1 is the primary turn from 1 to 3, and n2 is the secondary turn from 2 to 3. Okay, so I1 is the primary current and I2 is the secondary current. Similar to that we having in the transformer. So V1 is the primary voltage and V2 is the secondary voltage. So from figure 1 we get V2 we are getting, but what is the difference we are getting? V1 minus V2. So it will become N2 upon N1 minus N2. So V2 into N1 minus N2 is equals to N2 V1 minus V2. We can easily solve it. We can easily solve it, my dear student, because we are getting the difference. Now, how I am writing this? V2 is basically we are getting from V1 minus V2, and N2 we are getting from N1 minus N2. And if I am cross multiplying all these equations, so I am getting V2 n1 minus n2 is equals to n2 v1 minus v2, and we can also say that v2 n1 minus v2 n2 is equals to n2 v1 minus n2 v2. We can also simplify this equation. Now v2 n1 is equals to n2 v1. Now v2 n1 is equals to n2 v1. We can write like this. We can write like this or not. See here, if I am doing so, so this will cancel out, and we are getting v2 n1 is equals to n2 v1. So we are getting v2 by v1 is equals to n2 by n1 is equals to k. So what is k? K is the transformation ratio. Similar to similar this thing we have in a two winding transformer. So we are getting the similar thing, that is k. K is equals to what? N2 by n1 and is equals to v2 by v1. We have. So we can easily understand the theory of auto transformer. Now the principal operation is same to the our two winding transformer, that is Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction or mutual induction, but the difference is that we are using only one winding. Okay, now moving forward, continue, we can get the output. Now how we can get the output? Now see here, output, that is v1 I1 is equals to v2 I2. So input is equals to output, and we can also write like this for the transformation ratio, that is v2 by v1 is equals to I1 by I2. V2 by V1 is equals to I1 by I2. So if I am talking about the V2 is greater than V1, though I1 is greater than I2 and N2 is greater than N1. Okay. Now if I am talking about the output, the primary and secondary winding of an auto transformer are connected magnetically as well as electrically. So they are connected magnetically, they are coupled magnetically and as well as electrically. Okay. But in the secondary wind, in the two winding transformer, we having electrically separated but magnetically coupled. So the power transfer primary to secondary inductive as well as conductively. So inductively we have and conductively we have. The benefit is there, my dear student, is what? We having no leakage flux. We having less eddy current loss, and total the flux is consuming for the EMF generation. So we having efficiency higher compared to the two winding transformer. So output apparent power we can get V2 into I2, and apparent power transferred inductively we can say V2 I2 minus I1 is equals to V2 I2 minus KI2. K2 is the K is the transformation ratio, and we can also say V2 I2 1 minus K is equals to V1 I1 1 minus K. V2 I2 1 minus K is equals to V1 I1 1 minus K. We can easily get from the above equation, and the power transfer inductively is equals to input into 1 minus K. It is what I am getting, input into 1 minus K. It is different from that. Now the power transfer conductively, the inductively is input into 1 minus K, and the power transfer conductively is input minus input 1 minus K, we can say. So input 1 minus 1 minus K, and we can say K into input. can say K into input. And what is K here, my dear student? So K is the transformation ratio. That is V2 by V1, I1 by I2, and N2 by N1. So we will get the uh, thing in this basically the transformer we have, auto transformer we have. Now, types of auto transformer. Now, again, similar to that, the basically we can say the transformer two winding. Then we having similar to that we having step up and step down auto transformer. Now, step up and step down auto transformer we have. I hope you understand this thing. Step up and step down. We are getting this thing. Okay. Then we having the step up auto transformer. So if I am talking about the step up auto transformer, so an auto transformer in which NS is greater than NP. NS is what? NS is greater than NP means secondary turns is greater than primary turn. Similar to that, your two winding transformer. In two winding transformer, we can say the primary winding is less than the secondary winding turns. So the turns of secondary winding is greater than the turns of primary winding. It's called a step up auto transformer. Now see here. This will become secondary, this will become primary. So we can say 1, 2, and 3. The 1, 2, 3 is N2 and 2, 2, 3 is N1. So that is the, we can say which transformer? Step up transformer. A transformer which converts low alternating voltage to high alternating voltage means low AC voltage to the high AC voltage. We can do directly. So step up auto transformer is a transformer which converts low alternating voltage to the high alternating voltage. I hope you understand. Now moving forward, step down auto transformer. So similar to our two winding transformer, it is again same. So the primary turn is greater than the secondary turn and is called a step down. Similar to that two winding transformer, it is called as step down transformer, step down auto transformer. A step down auto transformer is a transformer which convert high alternating voltage to low alternating voltage. So if I am talking about the power system, my dear student, doing generation, only at the generating station we having the step up transformer. Elsewhere we use the step down transformer. In that we are get converting 11 kilovolt into the 800 or 765 kilovolt or 400 kilovolt. Then we convert basically into 765 or 800 to 400, then 400 to 220, then 220 to 132, 132 to 33, and 32 to 11, then 11 to 415 and 220. So secondary distribution, primary distribution, primary transmission, and secondary transmission. So all these we have means if I'm talking about the power system, so the power system is basically a combination of generation, transmission, and distribution. So all these generation, transmission, and distribution, the main equipment or the major equipment or the costly equipment, or we can say the equipment which having the higher majority, that is transformer. So at the yard, or we can say the yard which is in the generating station, we use step up transformer. Elsewhere we use step down transformer. So this is the automatic, we can say the step down auto transformer in which the primary turns is greater than to the secondary turns. Now here 1, 2 or 3, the 1, 2, 3 representing N1 and 2, 2, 3 is representing to N2. So I hope you understand. Now what are the advantages of auto transformer? Why I am using this? Why you are using this? And why in power system we are using this auto transformer? There is some good thing with it. They having some good thing or they having some advantages. What are they? Then auto transformer requires less copper than a two winding transformer of similar rating. How? Why? Say first why how we are getting the less? Because we are using only one winding. So if I am using one winding, similar to or comparison with the two winding transformer, so I am using the less copper than a two winding transformer of similar rating. Secondly, an auto transformer operates at high efficiency than a two winding transformer of similar rating. Obviously, my dear student, because the losses affect the efficiency. So in auto transformer, we having the less losses compared to the two winding transformer having the higher efficiency compared to the two winding transformer of same rating. So an auto transformer has better voltage regulation than a two winding transformer of the same rating. An auto transformer has better voltage regulation. Obviously, voltage regulation is basically the change in the terminal voltage or the secondary voltage of the transformer from no load to full load. So we are getting good voltage regulation in this auto transformer, better voltage regulation in this auto transformer compared to the two winding transformer of the same rating, not different rating. Okay. Now, an auto transformer has smaller size than a two winding transformer of same rating. Now, if I am talking about the auto transformer, so an auto transformer has a similar size than a two winding transformer, obviously has a smaller. Why it is smaller? Because I am using one winding instead of two winding. So it is a smaller size. It has a smaller size than a two winding transformer of the same rating. I hope you understand. Now, an auto transformer requires smaller exciting current than a two winding transformer of the same rating. Now, if I'm talking about the, we can say the two winding transformer. So in two winding transformer, we give the current to the primary, known divided into two parts: magnetizing current and the loss component, and the the flux which counterbalance the secondary winding flux. Though we can say I naught and I two dash. So I naught comprises two parts: I mu and I w. So if I am talking about the I mu, so this auto transformer require less I mu compared to the two winding transformer. That is excitation current or magnetizing component we have, through which we are getting the magnetic flux. Though disadvantages of auto transformer. Now there are so many disadvantages also. Now if I am talking about, there is a direct connection between the primary and secondary. Therefore, the output is no longer DC isolated from the input. We can say, if I am talking about the primary secondary are direct connection. So what will happen if secondary get fault, the primary also get the fault. So we cannot having the isolation directly. So we have to make isolation properly. Okay. Now second, an auto transformer is not safe for stepping down a high voltage to a low voltage. So for stepping up it is good, but for stepping down we can't do very easily. Why we can't do very easily? Because it is not suitable for it. Okay, not feasible for it. Now, if an open circuit develops in a common portion of the winding, then the full primary voltage will appear across the load. If open circuit develops in a common portion, means primary and secondary are connected in the same portion. So, in a common portion, we having the open circuit develops, then the full primary voltage will appear across the load. Full primary voltage, not secondary, full primary voltage appear across the load. In such case, anyone coming in the contact with the secondary is subjected to the high voltage. Coming into the, we can say the secondary is subjected to what? Is subjected to the high voltage. So this could be dangerous to both the persons and the equipment. For this reason, auto transformer is provided for general use. For general use, the auto transformers are prohibited. So we use for the, we can say, stepping down the voltage very easy, not stepping up. So we can do a stepping down voltage, but not very high. We use in a laboratory for like variac. We use this thing. So that is the application. Now the short circuit current is much larger than for the two winding transformer of the same rating. So short circuit current is much larger because all two windings are connected, basically electrically connected. So we can say if there is a short circuit, the current having the maximum value compared to the two winding transformer of the same rating. Why? Why is it so? Because they are in the same connection. So that a short circuit secondary causes part of the primary also to be short circuited. This reduces the effective resistance and reactance. This reduces what? The effective resistance and reactance. So we having two types basically. This is the step up. So in step up we having basically what? NS is greater than NP. Similar to that, your we can say the two winding transformer. And in two winding transformer, if I am talking about the secondary is greater than, secondary turns is greater than primary turns, so it is behaving like a step up. And if similar primary winding turns is greater than the secondary turns, so we getting the step down. So step up and step down we having the same, but for single phase and three phase we having again same. So if I am talking about the basis of the supply, again single phase and three phase, on the basis of consumption it is same. It is same. No core and shell here. It is only one core on which we bound one winding. They behave like a primary and secondary. And if I'm talking about the functionality or working, so it is similar to that step up and step down. But in step up and step down, we having only one winding. So for low voltage we can use very easily, but for higher voltage we make some isolation to this thing, and the efficiency we are getting from the auto transfer is very higher compared to the two winding transfer. Why is it so? Because we having no leakage flux in it. Okay, so no leakage flux in it. So we can say the step up is there, the step up transformer is there, step up auto transformer. In this 1 2 3 we can say N1 and 2 3 is the N2. Here if I'm talking about this step down, though step down basically the secondary winding turns is less than compared to the primary winding turns, or we can say the primary winding turns is greater than to the secondary winding turns. Now these all about the advantages, this is all about the disadvantages. Now Applications of auto transformer. So auto transformer are used to compensate for voltage drops in transmission and distribution line. When used for this purpose, they are known as booster transformers. Why? What we called as booster transformers. Auto transformers are used for reducing the voltage supplied to a AC motors during the starting phase for varied purpose, for variable purpose. Auto transformers are used for continuous variable supply. We can use for the variable supply. Now on long ruler area power distribution line, special auto transformer with the automatic tap changing equipment are inserted as a voltage regulator directly fitted on a pole, so that consumer at the far end of the line receiving the same average voltage as those closer to the source. So we make a single pole. On that single pole we having the auto transformer with the tap changing equipment. Okay. Now the variable ratio of the auto transformer compensate for the voltage drop along the line. It control equipment for single phase and three phase electrical locomotives. We can use in the we can say electrification also. I hope you understand. Now limitations of auto transformer, because it requires both fewer windings and a small core. An auto transformer power application is typically lighter and less costly than a two-winding transformer. We discussed previously this thing up to the voltage ratio of about 3:1. Beyond that range, a two-winding transformer is usually more economical. Means 3:1 primary and secondary 3:1. Then we can use auto transformer up to this value, maximum to this value, or greater to this value. And beyond this, we can say beyond that range up to this, and beyond that range, then we use two-winding transformer. Like multiple winding transformer, auto transformers operate on time varying magnetic field and so will not function with DC. A failure of insulation of winding of auto transformer can result in full input voltage applied to the output because insulation breakdown. So primary, secondary both having in a single winding. So we are getting same in the output. Also a break in the part of the winding that is used as both primary and secondary will result in the transformer acting as a inductor in series with the load. So these are the limitations. Now this is the multiple choice question related with the auto transformer. Compared to the two winding transformer in an auto transformer, the leakage reactance and copper losses is less, more, less, more, less. So we are having less and less. Less leakage reactance because we are having the mutual, and copper loss is also less. Only one winding instead of two winding. So use of an auto transformer is economical when it is transformation is near unity. So option is A. If the transformation ratio of an auto transformer is given by V2 by V1, then the ratio of power transfer to that of input power is given by V2 by V1 minus upon V1, V2 plus V1 upon V1, V2 minus V1 upon V1, and V2 by V1. So similar to that, we are having V2 by V1. The option is D. Which of the following is not the purpose of iron core in step-up transformer? To provide coupling between primary and secondary, to increase the magnitude of mutual flux, to decrease the magnitude of magnetizing current, to provide all above features. So option is C. Not purpose, to decrease the magnitude of magnetizing current. All these they are doing. Now in transformer, the tappings are generally provided in both sides, primary and secondary, both sides. So having D can be connected to any side. Helical coils can be used at low voltage side, high kVA transformers. We can see. Now, when the whether the given transformer is step up or step down, its V rating is always greater than the two winding transformer, equal to the two winding transformer, lesser than the two winding transformer, cannot say. So option is C, greater than the winding transformer. In real transformer, primary winding has infinite resistance, zero resistance, some finite resistance. So some finite resistance. Option is C. Now, while comparing potential transformer to an auto transformer, a potential transformer transfer power conductively, inductively, both conductively as well as inductively, electromagnetic induction. So option is E, conductive. But in this, conductively and inductively both means in auto transformer. Now, the size of a transformer core will depend on frequency, area of the core, flux density of the core material, and the frequency and the area of the core. So frequency and the area of the core, that is option number D. So these are the multiple choice question related with the auto transformer and two winding transformer. Now these are the some references through which I took some material to deliver this lecture. Now A. Phil Garrett is a very good book. R.K. Srivastava from Sinage Learning is also having the good content of Indian author. Stephen J. Chapman again. We having the good international content. We can say good content book of international author, and then we having Gopal K. Dubey. So these are the applications. So these all our books are available in our library. You can just refer it, just read it. Okay. Now, thank you from my side for listening this lecture. I hope you understand about this auto transformers, and the comparison between auto transformer and the two winding transformer. I hope you got it, all these things. So thank you for listening. Thank you for patience listening. I hope you understand about the auto transformer, my dear students.